Okay guys, now that we know what is branding all about, let's deep dive into brand strategy so that we thoroughly understand how to build that perception. Okay, so now again, before we move on to strategy, let me start with this quote which I read, an Einstein quote. So if I had 1 hour to solve a problem and my life dependent on that, like for 55 minutes, what I would do is ask a right question. So if you want to become a great brand strategist, you should be great at asking the right questions, because as a problem solving designer, as a problem solving brand designer, your ability to ask right questions will lead to right solutions. Let me show this in action. To begin with, we'll start with understanding the consumer. So the first question that you have to ask is, who is the consumer? All right, so let me just show it to you in a simplified manner. So who is the consumer? We will decode this first. And what happens is, as a designer, you get a challenge or a brief or some client, you hop onto the artboard as if like you open the Illustrator, the artboard is on, you simply start designing. That's not how it works. I've quoted this for you. It's all about the drawing board before the artboard. So before you jump onto the artboard, let's strategize on the drawing board first, because that's how clarify, as you know, will happen. So we begin with consumer. So who is a consumer? Now let me give my own example over here. Maybe you can relate well with that. Now if we are launching this online course for you guys, okay, so let's say Vivek is an entrepreneur who has come to you and he's like, okay, I'm starting this online program, I need to get my branding done. So what will you ask me? So you'll ask me, who is your consumer? And then I'll be like, okay, so I'm doing this for all the creative audience in the market. Okay, so usually that's how it works. So here I draw my vague answer. So the moment somebody asks me who is my consumer, I'll be like, all the creative person in the market. Or I'll be like, okay, so I'm launching this online course for designers, graphic designers, aspiring designers, or so for graphic designers. Like I'm being very specific. So here is my answer, which is very vague, which is like, I'm making this course for the creative community. And then I'll be like, okay, out of this creative community, here is the graphic designer. I'm making this for a graphic designer. Now this is specific. Now I get to know, okay, so you are doing this for a graphic designer. Now even so, it's all about narrowing down, focusing on the specific consumer, and under that you might have many segmentations. A designer who is a freelancer, a designer who is an agency owner, a designer who is working with an agency, or a designer who is an aspirant or a student and have just started in this industry. All this is segmentation. So right, and this becomes the circle you see over here, this becomes my primary consumer, and everything else that you see over here, they all are my secondary consumers. They are welcome, but my branding, but my communication, my design, my overall look and feel will be primarily focused on my TG, my target audience, which are designers. And in that, the different types of designers which I talked about is nothing but the segmentation. And in that, I'll be like, okay, but what if somebody who is doing motion graphics is interested in branding? Most welcome. I have put it as a secondary audience. So first you need to brand strategy, it all starts with the asking right questions, which leads to right solutions. That's how you will become a high ticket designer and problem solving brand designer. After that, you have to not get much into the depth of it, but narrow down as much as possible and When you ask questions to your clients, you will expect some vague or very not so specific answers. See how you are able to consult and bring down to a very specific answer. Okay, so this is a designer that I want to target. Then define the segmentations, then divide it into primary and secondary. So that's how, in a very simple manner, you define who is the consumer. In the next session, we'll talk about what are their pain points like.